I want to welcome our audience watching on Fox Sports 1, an incredible Mountain West Conference matchup between these two teams. And really thrilled that you have found us. Darren Sutton and you basketball fans from the pit, where it is to the rafters tonight. They're expecting close to 15,000 fans.
Yeah, the place is packed, a feral environment.
Good word. Good word, I like that.
Coach Alford and Coach Neal back, both previously serving as the head coach of the Lobos, now led, of course, by Richard Pitino.
Jalen House from the line, where he goes there a lot. 123 trips to the line this year. Shoots a very effective 85%. Because he goes that often, that tells me that he's a fearless guard. He penetrates.
Yeah, he plays with so much moxie, as we see Coach Pitino counseling Jamal Mashburn Jr. But you're absolutely right. House, such an emotional player. So magnanimous, not just a swisher, but a disher as well.
A transfer from ASU, Jalen House. It's an 8-7 start for New Mexico. We are New Mexico night as they celebrate. Lucas, step back triple. That's the reigning conference player of the week, and now we see why.
He is absolutely oozing confidence. He had 26 against San Diego State in a recent win, 19 against the Air Force. That's why, Darren, as you mentioned, he's the reigning Mountain West Conference Player of the Week.
They knew him in Corvallis for a very long time as he played for Oregon State, scored nearly 1,000 points for the Beavers before finding a new basketball home here with Nevada. Wheeling and dealing, the mash in the middle.
Mashburn can score in a variety of ways, so creative in all thirds from downtown, mid-range, at the basket.
Blackshear, physical presence. It's pretty interesting to see your point guard back in like that. Along the baseline. They have a couple of bigs. We'll introduce them both. The triple well off the mark that time by House. Morris Udeze had it in his hands for a moment, a graduate transfer. And it's Udeze who has really helped, as has Alec. That's a couple of toll pieces they've been missing. Slips through his hands that time.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Darren. It provides great balance for this roster. Not only do you have terrific perimeter players, but between Alec and Udeze, you're strong in the painted area. It's going to be a key tonight for sure. Protecting the paint, taking care of the basketball, controlling your defensive board will be major this evening for both teams.
Turnover sends it the other way. Both these teams take pretty good care of the basketball. What an incredible atmosphere. Face painting. Seriously? Face painting. Just a couple of weeks ago, January 23rd, these two teams, as they're locked up at 10 early now, had an incredible game against one another. There were 16 lead changes. The largest lead was 5, and they did it in double overtime. Nevada won.
Yeah, it was an incredible game watching it back last night. And Baker had a career-high 28 points for Nevada. Mashburn a career-high 33 in that one. New Mexico had a 5-point lead with a minute and change to go in the first overtime. But the Wolfpack just stormed back an epic Mountain West battle back in Reno.
Turnover differential 10, 19 for New Mexico, 9 for Nevada. Some of those late that helped to flip the game on its ear just a bit for that man. And you know, for you, I know he talked to you. Turnovers is what he wants to key on tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a major factor on the road.
The yellow brick road is paved and perfect for House. He takes it off the window.
Notice how House rejects the screen because he knows he can go left and beat the defender. High basketball IQ, excellent move by House.
In the first 4:18 of this game, 6 lead changes, 3 ties. Lucas. And he'll hear it from this crowd.
Just a great crossover by House. Sensed he could drive by the defender, Blackshear. Matchups, oodles of them all over the floor tonight. Front court, back court. Just terrific talent.
Mexico knows This will be a conference where having 5 play their way into the tournament is going to be a tall task to ask. These are games you have to win if you want to be in that group of 4. House lays it in. Beautiful passing from the big man. That's Udeze.
That's gorgeous. They double. Udeze remains strong. Finds an open House. Excellent execution by the Lobos.
Well done, whether you meant to or not, calling him an open house. Check with your realtor and see what the price, if it fits. Blackshear lowers that shoulder. It's interesting that he wears 13 because he has that Harden-like presence as he handles the basketball. A miss, though. It only hushes for a moment in this building. Mashburn step back along the baseline. A little bit firm. Incidental contact. 8 wins in a row for Nevada in this rivalry. And there was a lot of success when Steve Alford coached here. A lot. Although they didn't thank him when he walked in the building tonight.
Yeah, the greeting was a little bit different than when he was the head coach here.
Yeah, triple digits, the century mark games in this building, and he's won more than 90% of them.
93-11 at the pit. Darren, you get a good look at Coach Alford. Coached 1 game here for Nevada. That was a victory, part of that 8-zip run that the Wolfpack is on over the Lobos.
When he was a coach here in New Mexico, 07 through 13, they were 155-52 and went to the tournament 3 times. Haven't been since 14. They want to go back. This crowd tells the story. They don't get the role, though. And it's Craig Neal, another former New Mexico coach. He followed.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, a longtime good friend of Coach Alford and the offensive coordinator for the Nevada Wolfpack.
It's a couple of fouls on Coleman. Dre, back-to-back fouls, hands him out right away. And at the line is Mashburn. Mashburn goes to the line a ton, 117 times. Both these guards, Mashburn and House, pretty fearless in the way they play. You're probably already seeing it.
And remember, Darren, free throw attempts, New Mexico, 10th in the country. They go to the line 24 times. They make 17 on average. That's 8th in the country.
It's a humble little 7-0 run, but positive nonetheless. Nevada has missed their last 5 shot attempts, and a couple of them from very close where they had earned pretty good looks. Blackshear fires it underneath, and one more pass works out perfectly. Daniel Foster found Darian Williams, who averages 7 plus 7 boards a game.
It's such a big 3 when Nevada trailed by 5 with a minute and change to go in the first overtime. Blackshear followed it up with a bucket to send it to a second overtime in Nevada's win. And of course, anytime you help off the corner 3, that can be deleterious to your defense. And Williams gaining confidence.
Big Sebastian comes in, forceling for New Mexico, and an opportunity for Tyler Powell to hit the hardwood for Nevada. So Williams sits down. He was whistled for that foul, but the advanced metrics tell us when he's on the floor, he is the best defender for Nevada. So keep that in mind later on tonight, if you're into those kind of things.
Excellent point.
But they're into those kind of things. Triples from House, as you call him, an open house again. How about 10, by the way, already for Jalen? Flies through the air. He's on the move. House with the rebound. Streaking all the way to the bucket. Short off the glass. And he's whistled for a foul. He'll take a lot of chances like that.
Yes. And understandably so when you look at the numbers. House is one of the top players in the country as far as steals. And he plays with such moxie and a high IQ. And of course, we live in an era of, in the mantra of defend without fouling. We get it. But you just feel House oozing confidence here early.
Lucas on a beautiful but firm pass. Jared up with it quickly, puts it away. By the way, the season number 17 points a game. He shoots more from three, shoots more from the free throw line. He is the heartbeat of the offense.
He really is such a talented, skilled player. Coach Alford talking about on his radio show, cutting and getting open, his footwork, etc.
Wonderful start for the home team. It's not going to be a walk in the park at all, or even an open house. Jalen House already with 10. He had 17 with 10 assists in the previous matchup against Nevada in Reno. He's been fun to start.
Yeah, absolutely. We get a look at him here, starting the break in transition, scoring in a variety of ways. Gorgeous crossover. He's fourth in the conference, averaging 17 per night. Second in the conference, 4.7 dishes per evening. Late closeout, he makes the pay. Very efficient, 10 points on just 5 field goal attempts thus far tonight.
Hey, kids out there, something interesting, though, about that three. This is a team that doesn't shoot threes at all if you're going to stack them up against everyone else in Division I. 350th in D1 in three-point attempts, number 4 in the nation, all D1 schools in two-point attempts. They don't live and die by distance. Speaking of distance, that one is short. Into the corner, Nick Davidson with the attempt. Young man, a redshirt freshman out of Modern Day in Southern California.
Nevada, by the way, 3 of 5 to start from downtown.
Speaking of downtown, we told you they don't have to lean on it, but they got it. They got it so far. That's KJ Jenkins. He's a dangerous player when he plays.
Absolutely. Provides a spark off the bench. A career-high 17 against Iona in this building. Against Richard Pitino's dad, Rick, a win for the Lobos earlier this season.
An entire second team outside of Mashburn on the floor for New Mexico. Some fresh legs already. Foster with a beautiful dump underneath into the hands of Powell for the bucket, the sophomore.
Yeah, excellent execution by Nevada. New Mexico late with the rotation and easy basket for the Wolfpack. 4-point
Lobos lead. Just about halfway through this first half. This is the heir apparent Dent as the future point guard. On the block, he'll go to the line. We're talking about KJ Jenkins as Davidson stepped in front with this attempt. Here's a moment ago.
So slow rotation. Excellent vision. And the finish by Powell.
We're talking about Jenkins. His offensive rating, 120.7 points per 100 possession. That, by the way, is number 1 on the team. Again, he comes off the bench, but he's a very important 6th or 7th man when he gets out there. Overall, his numbers 8 per game with 3 rebounds. KJ Jenkins. A veteran, been at it for a long time. Atlanta guy. He's a redshirt senior. Randy and Carey, and he is one of 9. One of 9 Jenkins kids at home. They're all grown-ups now, but he's one of 9.
That's a good rotation right there. 9 players in the Jenkins family.
That's for fun holidays, I'm sure. Blackshear, the southpaw, went to his right for a moment. Williams got busy with those feet. Long strides as he takes it home.
Now notice Udeze guarding him, Darren, and he's got to close out because Williams made the 3 earlier. Williams very cognizant of the fact that he could drive by and deliver there. Excellent offensive move.
Udeze underneath. And straight up for Davidson. Did a nice job defensively, not leaving his feet at all.
Yeah, great verticality, straight up and down.
Nick, pretty high tally of offensive rebounds already as a freshman, showing some of that presence. Sat out last year, so a redshirt freshman. Jenkins up with it. Into the corner, there's a miss. Davidson has been an impactful player when he's out there. Both these teams go deep with talent, as this conference does. Foster looked like he traveled. Instead, he takes it home. Daniel Foster, the Australian, averages just 1 point a game, a couple of rebounds per game.
He's provided a good spark this evening on the road.
He's high this year, 4 points, couple of rebounds, couple of assists in a game against San Jose State. It was in a win. Had a 5-rebound game at UNLV. And a wild finish that night. Then penetrates, shoots it to the corner. Second chance off the window. They love having him here. Morris Udeze. He's out of Houston, Texas, via Wichita State.
Absolute avarice for the offensive glass. Crowd's back into it.
Under 9. Blackshear just turns around and finds Williams, and it was the right find.
Williams again from downtown, Darren. Big production from him, the Sacramento product.
He was Nevada's Gatorade Player of the Year. He ended up at Bishop Gorman for a couple of years and the outskirts of Las Vegas. And so to bring a player like that who came to your state and keep him in your state, offensive foul. That was a coup for Williams. We'll take a peek at the last couple of baskets.
Here's Udeze just on the offensive glass. You must find him and prevent that from happening. And another three-pointer by Williams for Nevada, answering it.
Richard Pitino wants to have that looked at, thinking maybe up above the shoulder there. He said, hey, take a look at this. And he just kept saying over and over, and it was clean language, G-rated. Look at it, look at it, look at it. Wondering if maybe with that offensive foul, that forearm got up above the shoulders.
He definitely got John Higgins and the rest of the crew's attention. And it looks like they are going to take a look at it. Now, Coach Alford is not happy. Now there's the elbow by Blackshear. So the question becomes, flagrant fouls are personal fouls that are deemed to be a more serious offense than a common foul. The penalty for flagrant one is 2 free throws and possession of the ball. So is that outside of a basketball play? Of course, trying to clear some space.
Yeah, F1, F2, or even flagrant at all.
Now it's interesting too, because you have Blackshear, who goes 6'6", and House, who goes at 6 foot. So there's a height differential. Now from that angle, it really depends upon who you're rooting for, is how you would call it. But certainly, Darren, like you said, was there contact above the shoulders? Yeah, absolutely, no question about it.
Well done by you, Bill, by the way, with what you just said. I love that. I'm sure folks around the nation who are pulling for either team for whatever the reason, whether you're a fan or you're a fan for this game for a specific reason, either way, you're right. I mean, it's a tough one to call.
Yeah,
this is a great officiating crew, by the way. Marquise Pettigrew, John Higgins, and Mike Skyfers. Skyfers a big baseball guy, so I'm biased towards him a little bit. Usually they'll come give you an explanation if they do make the call, so we'll see.
And of course, there was a controversial flagrant one call in the second overtime. Of course, Nevada winning that game. That went against Udeze. 97-94 last month in Reno. Get a good look at Udeze here, getting a break.
So this doesn't happen if Pitino just would not be, he would not stop. I mean, he literally would not stop until he was heard from. And they were about to start play. Could be an early, nice little turning point for New Mexico. And really the lobbying of Coach Pitino.
Yeah, got it done. He got him to look at it. You know, my gut is that this is going to be a flagrant one, just based upon the way the game is officiated. It's so difficult to officiate today's game.
Bill's going to get us the explanation right now.
Yep. Thanks, John.
What'd you hear?
So, common foul on the play, upgraded to a flagrant one, according to John Higgins. So, no surprise there, as we get a good look at the countenance of Blackshear. He loves the game so much. You get a good look at Coach Alford on his radio show recently, talked about Blackshear having such a love for the game, being a perfectionist, such a high IQ, and takes things personally. And the staff has worked with Blackshear, Darren, on focusing on the next play. So this will be a good opportunity, a teaching moment for him to turn the page here. Of course, we've got a ton of time left, and you just have to live with the result of the foul call.
Comes from a great basketball family. His dad played at Stetson, Carey, all-time leading scorer. Mom, Lamilla, was an elite player, basketball at Stetson as well. So both of them were Hatters and were great players in college. So there's some wisdom you can lean on. As House will shoot the first, and it's flawless. And it's a Lobos 1-point lead. So far, so good. We made a promise to you. We promised you a good game. We're all feeling really comfortable about our promise right now.
It's like a financial investment. Past performance, not a guarantee of future results. But I'm willing to go out on a limb with you, Darren. This is going to be a good one. A good look at Coach Pitino. Who, you're right, he absolutely lobbied for that. That's why Coach Alford was kind of upset, because if Pitino doesn't lobby, it's likely a play-on scenario.
Donovan Dent handling the offense right now, as we said. You have 2 point guards out there with House and Dent. Dent, an impact player right out of the gates as a freshman from Riverside, California. They come alive for K.J. Jenkins as he drops home yet another triple. You'll give him 7 points.
Major factor, Jenkins off the bench.
Yeah, those 2 free throws plus possession. There's your sales job by Coach Pitino and how much it meant. Huge swing. Williams physical to the bucket. Looks like they got him prior to shooting. Udeze whistled for the foul. Great atmosphere tonight at the Pit in Albuquerque. Here, this building, because it kind of has that much smaller, don't get me wrong, but much smaller energy and vibe that they'll have on Sunday. And that's a neutral site in Phoenix. This isn't a neutral site. Not at all.
This is one of the best venues, of course, in college athletics.
Oh, Mr. Will Baker, the Texas transfer. That left-hand hammer.
Big-time move, baseline out of bounds, excellent execution. And, of course, Baker, that's just his 4th point of the night. He went for a career high in that double overtime win at home over the Lobos, going for 28. So the Wolfpack fans would love to see him percolate here a bit more on the road.
And you're talking about he's becoming more and more confident, wanting the basketball, wanting offenses designed around him.
Right, and his teammates are responding.
There's a response as well. That's Tyler Powell out of Ribbon Academy in Los Angeles, California. That's a 3. He averages just 2.
Yeah, the bench for both teams, Jenkins for New Mexico, has had a major impact on this game.
Jalen didn't like his look. He gave it up into the corner, and quickly Mashburn dumped it all the way around where House is well off the mark. Huge effort to keep it alive. Alec into the student section.
Alec does so many things, Darren. It's kind of like Einstein. Not everything that counts can be counted. So with Alec, we know we can count on, he's a near double-double guy. 8.4 points, 8 rebounds per game, 2nd in the Mountain West. And an offensive rebounder as well, 2.6 per game. So you really have to love his energy and what he brings to the floor.
Jenkins sits. That effort by Alec a moment ago, the young man who's out of Lincoln, Nebraska, transferred from Kansas City. That's not an effort you see a big throw at you very often. Leaping over the cheers and toward the student section, but he's that kind of player.
Right, so versatile.
Powell up with it quickly. Hardly had it in his hands. It's a little bit firm. Williams creates a second chance. 6 to go till they head to the locker room.
And again, you got to credit Alec for the job he's done on Baker, holding him to just 4 points until this juncture.
You'll give him that shot all day long. Even though he was Velcro on him, you'll shoot all day long if you'd like to there. Not a dream look that time for Will Baker. He has attempted 43 this year, so it's not a shot. He makes a third of them. Mashburn just inside the three-point line. He continues to add to his tally. He's got 8.
And the tap out by Alec almost goes unnoticed, but not by the intelligentsia here at the pit or those viewing. Excellent play by Alec, and Mashburn cashes in.
Boy, it's hard to argue with Lucas as one of the most dangerous players in this conference, averaging 17, and he adds to his total. He's got 11 tonight already.
Yeah, he's just a prolific scorer. Athletic, kinetic. What a threat.
How about that along the baseline? That big fella look that they haven't had. Morris Udeze averages 16 and 9 rebounds. He had 16 plus 12 in the heartbreaking loss to Utah State. Williams just a little bit firm on the touch. Look at House streaking to the bucket, and he gets the home roll. 14.
The hesitation, the cogitation, the matriculation of House and the roll, to the delectation of the Lobos fans at the pit.
This is why the veteran play-by-play man lays out. Boy, did he ever clear. He sent Mr. House into the third row, and all you can do is smile if you're Jalen. Those are two great dudes going back and forth, one in a white, one in a red uniform, when you see Lucas and House going at it.
You're so right, Darren. Great matchup. And the footwork that Coach Alford talked about on display by Lucas. What a great move.
Mashburn turns to corner, loses control, and he's fouled. Well, really aggressive there. He may have gotten bailed out by this one. He was a little bit out of control. House goes one way, Lucas right back at him to follow it up, 35-34. Looking forward to it, Rob, and thank you for that. Both of these teams, Rob and his team watching in studio, seeing a lot of hot shooting. Nevada 57%, New Mexico 52%. So we peek at the standings, and again, you're jockeying. You're all inside the top 37 RPI-wise. San Diego State, Boise, Nevada, Utah State, New Mexico. But again, you want to find yourself into that upper tier heading into the tournament.
Yeah, it's testament to how good the conference is. A loss is not as deleterious to your net because your conference foe also has a strong net. But this is more crowded than the bus stop around the corner from my house at 79th Street, Kennedy Boulevard back in Jersey, Darren. Look at that. Just 2 games in the loss column between 1 and 5.
That's a great graphic. That tells the story we're trying to share with you as Mashburn drops the first one home. Again, there are Power 5 conferences that cannot boast this. They cannot boast this many. Now, in all likelihood, the experts, you're an expert, they'll tell us 5 aren't going. There's not going to be 5 going to the tournament. I think this conference would love to really feel that they get 4, which would up them, you know, and get them to where they'd like to be. They want 5, selfishly, but will they get 5?
Sure. Got to be rooting for the favorites, of course, in the conference tournaments. Maybe open up some spots.
Williams had that slip through his fingertips. Shot clock at 10. This is just an amazing score in Lucas. So in high school, he scored almost 3,500 points. He's doing the same thing now all through college, whether it's at Oregon State or here. Crazy.
Nevada is 7 of 11. Incendiary from downtown, led by Lucas's 4 or 5, excuse me, from 3.
Udeze bodies into the paint. Jump hook comes up off the mark, under 3. Tied at 37. Blackshear going downhill, but then shares it in the corner. And it worked perfectly. That slick Nick Davidson, the Southern Californian, and the redshirt freshman. Shoots 40 from 3 this year.
Big time shot. How about this very low turnover game thus far? Nevada with just 3 turnovers on the road at the pit. And we see Udeze here, the closeout. But good call, John Higgins right there. Of course, it's very difficult to block a jump shot. So you like Udeze's enthusiasm. But of course, You prefer just to close out?
Nick had 17 points, a perfect 6 of 6 from the line at San Diego State in 20 minutes on January 10th. Both of Nick's parents, as he works in the center of the lane defensively, went to Nevada. That's why he's in Nevada. Part of the reason.
We see Nevada here. Williams is a little shaken up. Hopefully he's okay. Maybe for the first time tonight they blitz that pick and roll scenario, Darren. So we'll see some adjustments. Now you got to think, Lucas has 16 of Nevada's 41 points. So you cannot practice egalitarian defense. Here we have the conference's leading scorer, Mashburn, going to the free throw line. And you cannot treat every offensive player the same. They're worthy of more attention. So you don't want the opposition's best player to beat you. And the way this just has a feel that it could go down a winning time and just players making plays. This is a guy who made some plays for Indiana back in the day, and Keith Smart draining that jumper to win an NCAA championship over Syracuse.
Scored nearly 2,500 points at IU playing for Coach Knight. For Mashburn, by the way, 45 games in a row in double figures. Second longest active streak in college basketball.
And of course with Mashburn, his father playing for Richard Pitino's dad, Rick Pitino at Kentucky, and the success they had there. He was the SEC Player of the Year, went to a Final Four. And of course an illustrious NBA career as well.
And you see where these men stand in the conference. You've got some elite players in this matchup tonight.
Yeah, 3 of the 4 on the floor here this evening.
You saw Amari Moore. He's got 16 points in 32 minutes tonight. Fresno State, San Jose State in a tight one. 1-point game late. As Foster drops those in. Daniel Foster, as we said, earning some extra playing time. Averages about 2 points. He's well beyond that tonight as he's got 4.
Now here's a 1-3-1 zone. Coach Alford did this at home as well, just to give them, the Lobos, a different look. But again, you must rebound out of the zone. Shot goes up, Tom Izzo time. Hit, find, and go get it. You must do that regardless of what defense you're in, forcing having an impact on the offensive glass for the Lobos.
He's another one. The advanced metrics love his impact. Really big impact player. Does grab a ton of rebounds when he's out there. Played a lot more last year. He's lost some of that time with the height coming in, the transfers from Sweden. Athletic effort, but he's off the mark to the left. Mashburn.
Even when Mashburn misses, he looks terrific. I mean, that's just a big-time move. The elevation, like you said, Darren, just a moment ago, 45 straight games in double figures. Getting it done in a major way.
On his way to the bucket was Nick Davidson. Davidson, a storyteller in this one already. He's got 4 points.
Now, this is a critical juncture here. 4-point game, 1:45 to go. Who can grab the steering wheel here? Again, you want to get high percentage shots for your best players in their best areas. UB Brown's test of coaching. It's not that complicated in this era of analytics and data, the blogger demagoguery that abounds.
5, and that'll turn it over. As we count turnovers in this one, we see just 2 for New Mexico. That's the way they wanted it. 4 for Nevada.
Coach Pitino loves that. The punctilious attention to detail from the shoot-around incorporated into the game plan, forcing the turnover.
It's New Mexico basketball. We saw a shot a moment ago of Donovan Dent as he comes on, serving as the backup point guard, playing bigger and bigger minutes. Timeout here.
He played for Josh Giles at Centennial High School, a buddy of Casey Jacobson's. I really like Dent's game. Wise, precocious, beyond his years.
ACOB in studio with Rob Stone. It's fun. It's fun watching him because obviously when you're a freshman, you feel things through, but he's become a player that not only doesn't shrink in big moments. You see Dent there in the number 2 jersey. He actually blossoms in big moments. He had 8 with 4 and then 2 as far as assists at Nevada. But he's had some big games this year. He had 10 points, 3 assists in 21 minutes in a win against Boise State here. And he was huge late. He's that man's backup. But he's more than a backup now, I think, for Donovan Dent. They really nailed it. And an interesting number, if you want it, as a defender for Dent, he's got 19 blocked shots. That's a guard.
It's incredible. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, you know, he has the ability to absorb information and learn from House and Mashburn, and, of course, Coach Pitino and the coaching staff. And like you said, Darren, now you get into a stage of the season where there are no longer any freshmen.
Fired into the corner, Javante Johnson, who shoots 28% from 3, misses that one. The junior from Colorado Springs.
He's 46% from downtown last year. Has been shooting it better of late. Struggled on that occasion.
Right at a minute. Nevada up 4. Johnson goes to work, and he'll go to the line leaning into that one, and a whistle hung on Nick Davidson that time. Second personal foul.
Now when you look at the numbers, Nevada has only gone to the free throw line 5 times. New Mexico has made more free throws than Nevada's attempted. They're 11 of 14 up to this point. One of the great equalizers is the 8 of 13 from 3 Nevada has shot so far tonight. A sizzling 62%. So that'll be a topic of conversation in New Mexico's locker room. Pushing Nevada off the three-point line, making these guys drivers. Namely Lucas, who's 4 of 5, Williams 2 of 3.
Both free throws advantageous for New Mexico. And Alford will call a quick timeout. And get more love from this crowd, says the cynical announcer. And take a peek at the conference strength overall in the NCAA net. They slip into a very, very powerful spot. Boy, what a compliment that graphic is to this conference.
Yeah, it's the real deal. You know, if you're coaching in this conference, Steve Clifford, the head coach of the Charlotte Hornets, says you want to scare yourself, just look at an NBA schedule. And you could say, if you coach in this conference, you sleep like a baby. But you may wake up every couple hours kind of upset because of your next opponent. But look at Coach Alford. He looks terrific. I'm over here like Methuselah, and he looks like he's still playing.
Nevada last 2 games, 9 of 20 from distance. Tonight, as you spoke about it, 8 of 13. Alford coached the team in red to the NCAA tournament on 3 occasions. Was 100 games over 500 as a head coach in Albuquerque. Great athletic effort by Alec.
Alec's done a great job on Baker.
And it's stripped right out of his hands. Everyone wanted a whistle. And an excellent job defensively by Darian Williams. He took a chance and it worked.
And you can tell by Alec's reaction, he just moved on. Great extension, fronting the post. See House here in transition. And again, Alec running the floor. You love to see that. Gordy Chiesa, a longtime assistant with the Utah Jazz, would talk about his bigs as the unknown runner. And we see Alec going 94 feet, getting it done. Almost, but a great effort.
Looked like a good clean block as you folks saw the replay. All basketball. It doesn't faze Josiah Alec. He'll get right back after it as he goes to work now against a 7-footer. That beautiful pass to Alec. It's taken away again. Incredible Williams. Johnny on the spot. Williams wants the basketball. Boy, what a great exclamation point that is as it trickles down to 0. To quiet this crowd and to stir up the boos that come toward Nevada. New Mexico had an opportunity to tie it. Instead of a gigantic swing, Nevada +4.
Yeah, big run by Nevada late. And the crowd is not happy here at the pit.
Robin Casey will take it from here from the studio. New Mexico donut hole for their last 5 from the floor. It's a 4-point Nevada lead. Bill Herenda, Darren Sutton, glad to have you back on campus in New Mexico. Some of the keys that shockingly stand out, that 8 for 13 from distance for Nevada. That's a difference maker. Their first 9 road games, 30%. And then a clean game. Look at turnovers, 8 total, and New Mexico thrilled about that. Bench points, the bench has been huge, but no one has been bigger than Jared Lucas with 16.
Yeah, absolutely. 16 points, 4 or 5 from downtown. Of course, we remember him second leading scorer during Oregon State's run to the Elite Eight back in 2021. And here, catch and shoot, cutting, as Coach Alford is talking about, and excellent footwork. A conundrum for the Lobos thus far has been Lucas.
They get things going. It could be a different second half for this man. We talked about Baker, his confidence, who he is, his presence at 7 feet. The young man out of Austin, Texas. Averages 13 a game, and for Baker, he's now just got 6. Or check that, only 4. Kind of a shocking number.
Big respect from Coach Pitino for Baker, calls him the most underrated player in the conference.
Be too busy for Alec that time. Josiah, another presence underneath, had a couple of defensive athletic plays, saved one, kept it in bounds, but he had just 2 points to go along with 3 rebounds in the first half. The other one, Udeze, had just 4 points, so the 2 bigs combined only 6 for Coach Pitino's team.
And Udeze averages 16. Can they get him going offensively? But it's got to start for New Mexico defensively. Darren, I think Nevada's got to feel them a little bit more here. That 57% from the floor field goal percentage number probably caught the ire of Coach Pitino and the staff.
Coleman lost his way. He turned the corner. Looked like he had a wonderful look at it. Trey Coleman came up empty. Nevada 11-1 when leading in half. New Mexico 3-3 when trailing. Big man passing. You've got to love it. In the end, it's Alec that takes advantage from Udeze with the assist.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Both teams high percentage shots. Notice early here, going deep into the paint to their bigs to start to establish the rhythm for the second 20 minutes.
Alec was an amazing high jumper in high school. Blew up his leg, had a leg injury when he was running sprints, went to high jump and was at the state level. A second opportunity, Alec comes up defensively well that time. 2 chances for Baker, no points. That's a win for New Mexico. We're saying his name a lot more, aren't we, in the second half? Firm off the back of the iron. Josiah, the son of Melvin and Colleen. Both were college athletes. His dad swam at UNLV. Mom played college hoops. Blackshear clears some space for good reason. Ina Blackshear, averaging 15.
He fouled out in overtime of the double overtime win for Nevada over New Mexico a couple weeks back. But you're right, Darren, did a great job with that jab step, creating space, and he doesn't need much of it to get it done.
Blackshear's got 5 now. Right over the back to knock that one free. Telegraphed that pass. They tried it for the second time. An empty possession, though, for Nevada. Kind of clunky out of the gates for these teams. Let's see who pulls it together. And a chance to add to the score without ticking the clock at all. A foul underneath.
You see Mashburn spinning here, trying to make something happen, creating contact. That was interesting, Darren, as well. Mashburn, the conference's leading scorer, averaging 19 per night, had 12 in the first half. But you just kind of had the feeling he had to work for it. He was 3 of 7 from the floor, 5 of 7 from the free throw line, while draining a 3, his only 3-point field goal attempt in the first half.
Couldn't put that one home, but there's a second chance and a chance to go right back to the line. That time they hung it on Coleman. That's his 3rd personal.
I think Coleman is claiming that Mashburn may have extended his legs there on the descent, creating the contact.
just like a veteran scorer would. He's got such great instincts. It's always a challenge because sitting in this chair, you constantly want to refer to the family ties, but this is his own journey, and he's absolutely his own man and his own basketball player.
Yeah, absolutely. 5th longest streak in New Mexico history now, 45 consecutive double-figure games. Luke Longley with the longest, pun intended, 61 games back in 89 to 91. So many great professional players out of these programs. Kenny Thomas, who does a great job pre and post game with the resurgent Sacramento Kings.
Lucas up with it, in with it that quickly.
Looks like we got a Gatorade cup on the floor that Mike Cyphers is taking care of in front of the Nevada bench.
That's 18 points for Lucas.
Lucas is absolutely incendiary.
They're announcing to the crowd in house, do it again and we'll tee up your team. That's a pretty good warning.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
These are passionate fans for this team.
One of the great venues in the country, the Pit, of course.
Knocked free, second chance, Udeze with the bucket. Maybe it's the big men in the second half for New Mexico, in front of more, by the way, than 15,000 fans as they announce the attendance. Nevada +4 right now. Slips through the hands of Lucas, right into the hammer hands of Baker. I mean, a gift on Christmas morning, he'll take it.
And New Mexico was actually fortunate that there wasn't a major collision between Alec and Udeze on that last scenario.
Baker's got 6 points now to go along with 4 rebounds. Alec loses his footing. He got tied up, it looked like, with his defender. We've been waiting all night long for this young man to break out. Mr. Baker, the slam dunk maker, is starting. New Mexico, first half, turned it over just 3 times. And about 4.5 for the second half, they've turned it over 3 times. They want to make sure they keep that in check. Nevada on top by 6 on the road in this tough place to win.
And Jared Lucas, a major reason why. 18 points, 7 of 8 from the floor, 4 or 5 from downtown. The reigning Mountain West Conference Player of the Week, put up 26 against San Diego State. Who does that against the Aztecs? Jared Lucas does 19 against Air Force. He has been terrific here on the road, trying to keep this Pit crowd quiet.
As a California kid, his dad Jeff was his head coach at Los Altos High School. His senior year, he averaged, if you round up, 40 a game as a high school player.
Now, on Rate Your Professor, Darren, you'd be rated very high. I like the way you rounded that up. Students love that. What a prolific player Lucas is. We'll see what New Mexico does defensively. Mashburn checking him right now.
They find Powell wide open for 3, and they were so hot from distance in the first half. Boy, they're loving a second chance, though. A bounce that went Nevada's way.
Yeah, these second chance opportunities are hurting the Lobos here early in the second half.
Nevada 1 of 2 from long distance in the second half. Cleared his space, took advantage. Daniel Foster, the junior, the Australian.
This bench crew of Nevada has done a terrific job. It was 15-7 at the half. 7 from Powell, 4 from Foster, 4 from Davidson. Picking up right where they left off.
And Foster's got 6, you're exactly right, and there are rebounds that are being pitched in. Davidson's got 5 boards. Don't want to let it get too far away if you're New Mexico. They're down 8 right now. This crowd's going to lift them a bit. Kept alive. I'll say kept alive. And then put down. Udeze has got 8.
Crowd responding. Alec with another tip, keeping it alive for the Lobos as the crowd comes back to life.
Trying to lift them on a run. This man's so tough to stop. Like a lid on it that time. Offensive foul.
Look at Alex, so aggressive and tenacious with the tip. Udeze knows what to do with it. Deep in the painted area. Coach Pitino not happy with that offensive foul and turnover by House. Kind of let Mike Cyphers know about it a little bit.
And that'll frustrate his head coach. That's quickly 3 fouls on House. All of a sudden, it's 1 to 3.
And it's a high-risk maneuver by House. Now, we know he's 3rd in the country in steals, just under 3 per game. He's had 9 games with at least 4 steals, but time, situation, score. He's so valuable, of course, to this squad. Needs to preserve himself, Darren.
Offensive foul sends it back the other way. House has 14 in this game. He's 4 of 10 from the floor. Second personal on Will Baker.
House, of course, scion of Eddie House. Mike Bibby, the uncle Henry Bibby, the grandfather who played on the '73 Knicks championship team. Look at that beautiful, Darren, 3 touches. Mashburn to House to Udeze for a high percentage shot.
He's in double digits now to go along with 5 rebounds. Udeze's got 10 points. They give it to the 7-footer. And the 7-footer takes advantage. He's got a shot at a 3-point play, Will Baker.
Now, when Baker receives the ball that deep, that's a problem. He is very skilled, old school. You see Alec trying to get around him, but just could not. And Baker still went with his left, kind of turned into Alec, but still successful with the finish, and he gets to the line.
Second personal foul on Alec. 84% free throw shooter Baker. And he misses that one.
Rare miss.
He had a double-double against New Mexico last year. New Year's Day 2022 with 5 offensive boards in that one. Texas transfer. Limited playing time when he played at Texas. 2.1 points per game. Over Davidson. The perfect lob.
So what we're seeing, Darren, you know, people like Hubie Brown, Gordon Shaza, frequently games like this are won by the teams that score the most points in the NBA in the 4th quarter, late from the free throw line, extended and below. As much as the 3 is a prodigious part of the game, old school mid-range at the rim. Still, and the free throw line so efficient, a paramount position on the floor.
And that's what New Mexico does so well. Shot clock at 3. Oh, that hurts. Wow, Lucas from long distance as the clock ticked away. Bang!
He had Udeze and Alec hung up on a pick and roll scenario, and he just shot over the bigs. Wow.
21 points. A smaller answer back, but an answer nonetheless. Mashburn. He's got 17 with 4 assists. He leads his team with 4 assists. I don't know if there's even words needed at this point. Just keep watching.
You just run out of superlatives. Pick and roll. He just made an incredible 3, and what does he do? He does it in the mid-range.
Lucas has 23s, 9 of 11 from the floor. Beautiful give and go. Hammer. Udeze. Morris with the jam.
The roll man is the rotation man's responsibility, to quote Hubie Brown again, and there was no rotation man. Udeze taking advantage.
So they get the crowd going, but then they don't deliver a stop. That's been the challenge. Nevada has had so many answers that quiets the crowd again. Short. You don't blame Lucas for feeling it, folks. You really don't. House, little runner, that's short. Got into the key. Came up empty.
And Darren, you're so right. With Lucas, that's a heat check. And you've got to ride it. 23 points, 9 of 12 from the floor, 5 of 7 from 3. And he hasn't gotten to the free throw line yet, where he shoots 85%, so he can kill you there as well.
That was the difference in the last game. Turned over. Udeze with the steal. Let's watch Jalen. Where's he headed? Headed to the bucket. No whistle that time. It's turned over. Had a good look. Tried to get it underneath to Alec. Offensive foul. Foster doesn't like it. The conference player of the week in the Mountain West. He was hot last week. He's hotter this week. He's got 23. It all tips off Saturday, 11:30 Eastern on Fox. And that's what matters, and that's why a game like that is so big. This is why tonight is so important.
Yeah, you look at 2 games in the loss column between New Mexico and San Diego State, the top 5 teams in the conference. So this game has prodigious implications, not only on the conference standings, NCAA tournament implications, plus, Darren, you're building that mental and physical toughness into March. So it's a huge tilt here at the Pit, one of the country's best venues. Little 1-3-1 again from Coach Alford.
Lobos are 5 of the last 6 from the floor.
Notice that out of the timeout again to give New Mexico a different look. He did it in Nevada twice as well in their meeting a couple weeks back. Now Lucas is off the floor here. 23 points for Lucas. We'll see if New Mexico can take advantage of that fact that he's not on the floor. Getting a little breather. He'll be back after the under-8 media timeout.
That means watch Baker, as far as I'm concerned. See the role he can play, the big man. It is underneath. It's hammered. Udeze swats it away. Big time block. Nevada still controlling the basketball. And a shot clock violation. New Mexico ball. Oh boy. Morris.
And the crowd loves it and appreciates the defensive effort. Udeze, a basket protector, getting it done, forcing the turnover.
Yet the man bringing it up leads this team in blocks. Donovan Dent, that's that shocking fact as we see the big fella. Williams takes it right out of the hands of Mash, and it's a turnover. 9 turnovers for New Mexico. 6 in the second half. They average 11 per game. Another turnover. Back and forth we go. Dent holds on. That one swatted. Jenkins right behind to clean it up.
Very intelligent play by Jenkins to stay with it. Notice Blackshear was trying to back down Mashburn. They doubled him, Darren, forcing the turnover, and they get the transition bucket.
This crowd provides the soundtrack. You knew he would be big. Baker, another dunk.
And a great dish by Blackshear, the point guard.
And Lucas is about to check back in. They're going to count the bucket. A triple. Whistle stopped action. And a 3-point bucket is counted. We'll reset the situation when we come back. So Keenan Blackshear was whistled for the foul, his 4th. They reviewed it, the officiating crew, determining that Jenkins' shot went up after the whistle came against the foul. So Blackshear, his 4th, there is no shot attempt for Jenkins, so that's why the score 65-60. Will Baker, second half has been his.
Yeah, absolutely. Baseline out of bounds. Look at him here, squaring up, spinning. So svelte and sinewy with the left hand. And here, opportunistic, cashes in. Just in great position, too deep if you're a New Mexico fan. We see Blackshear in the top 10 in so many statistical categories in the conference, including assists, finding the big man off the pick and roll.
28 plus 5 rebounds, 3 assists in the win over New Mexico. His last 2 games, 36 points, 17 rebounds, 14 of 20 from the floor. That does not include tonight. Another 3-point attempt and another one from Jenkins, and this one short.
Now, how does Nevada operate without Blackshear on the floor? It looked like Hunter McIntosh, of course, was going to be the point guard, the transfer from Elon before his injury. And Blackshear has done a great job in the role. Now he's off the floor with 4 fouls.
Knocked out of bounds. It'll be New Mexico basketball. You saw the rebound a moment ago when Udeze grabbed it. This is a freakishly successful defensive rebounding team. They force you to miss a lot, New Mexico, and then they grab the rebounds. Tops in the conference.
Yeah,
defensive rebounds.
Yeah, exactly, and it's so paramount, controlling your defensive board. Defensive possession doesn't end until that occurs. Down until you secure that defensive rebound, it's huge.
Rolled at the basket from Udeze, but Jenkins' pass looked a little bit below the hands.
And, you know, you could feel it. We get a good look at Coach Pitino that, you know, on teams that are cohesive, you celebrate defensive rebounds as much as you celebrate scoring points at the other end of the floor.
Mashburn sits, I'm guessing, not for very long. Sits with 17 points in 28 grueling minutes.
See House checking Lucas here, trying to keep him quiet.
There's a lot of athletic confidence for Baker at 7 feet. Taken away. It's Dent, the freshman. Jenkins thought about it one more time. Instead, a chance to shoot 2 from the line.
Now, notice Dent. Excellent poise and equanimity. A freshman cogitating and finding Jenkins, who will get to the free throw line. You know, a lot of times, plays like that, Dent, California's Mr. Basketball last year, kind of get overlooked. You know, you're on your home floor, you're trailing by 5, leading scorer in the conference, and Mashburn's off the floor. But an excellent decision, taking what the defense gives you, and you get to the free throw line, where New Mexico, one of the top teams in the country, getting there.
By the way, that's 4 fouls now on Coleman. So 4 on Coleman, 4 on Blackshear. You never know. Dent could get going. He does little things. He doesn't have any points thus far, but in the win over Boise State, he was key. 10 points, 3 assists, a majority of that damage late, as Jenkins with a couple of free throws.
Yeah, no question. Winning time is going to be major again tonight. You see New Mexico extending their man-to-man defense here without Blackshear on the floor, their point guard, starting point guard.
The 2 most dangerous scorers are out there right now, though. Lucas trying to pop free. You noticed Eddie House earlier really stuck to him.
Now, if you ask Eddie House what kind of cologne Jared Lucas is wearing, he'll be able to tell you. That's the way he's guarding it. That's what you like to see.
3rd foul, by the way, on Alec. If it's a nice cologne, you don't want to waste it before a game because you're going to sweat it right off. You need to use a more of a discount cologne. The nice cologne's for after the game.
I like your style, Darren.
Looked like he traveled in the lane. Instead, he finds Davidson, who comes up short. House, a gutsy pass, skip pass cross court. One extra pass. Here goes Jalen. A mouthpiece dangling out of his mouth, and he missed it.
And veteran Moxie, such a terrific playmaker, just was unable to finish there, was House. You see Mashburn heading back to the table to check in. As you astutely pointed out, Darren, would not be long.
And another defensive rebound. This one creates a whistle. 3rd on Davidson. House 4 of 13 from the floor. 4 of 13. That's 7 team fouls on Nevada.
Now it's interesting because Nevada shoots 79% from the free throw line, 5th in the country, 1st in the Mountain West. And New Mexico, 10th in free throw attempts under Coach Richard Pitino, doing a masterful turnaround job here. Kind of like Vicky Sue Robinson turned the beat around. And also, New Mexico, 8th in the country in free throw makes per night, 17.4.
Morris drops the first one in. Udeze shoots 62%. "16 points, 10 rebounds at Nevada." The son of Imelda and Felix. And big brother to Sydney, Walter, and Kennedy. From Houston, Texas. 2 clutch drops there. Morris, who's got 14. Steve Alford wanted a timeout. He got it. This crowd had risen out of their seats to support. And the moment Alford steps onto the court, the cheers turn to boos. Kind of fun. The metrics, and if you're leaning on net, they don't lie. This is a Power 5 conference on the basketball hardwood, and that's how this game is playing out tonight. This is where fouls will affect us from here on out.
Yeah, absolutely. And the ability to get to the free throw line, both of these teams, we talked about New Mexico, how frequently they get to the free throw line. Top 10 in both attempts and makes, and New Mexico, 5th in the country, shooting 79% from the free throw line. So now, basically, what you want to do is you want to ensure, just under 6 minutes to go, 1-point game, ensure that your best players get high-quality shots in their best areas. And if you do not force a turnover, you want to secure a defensive rebound here. Control your defensive glass. Don't give up second-chance opportunities. And Lucas has been on fire, but he's been stuck on 23 for a while for Nevada. They'd love to see him to get going here. And I wouldn't be surprised, Darren, either, to see Lucas with the ball in his hands initiating some offense, because you have Blackshear, starting point guard, off the floor, and his touches have been limited due to the tenacious defense of Eddie House on him of late.
So Alec has to sit with 4 fouls. Make a note of that. Johnson comes onto the floor, going to play some really huge minutes. Devontae Johnson. And your defensive rebounding numbers, you're going to have to lean on the likes of Johnson. And this is where really important Udeze becomes.
No question about it.
He's really only presence out there.
You're absolutely right.
He's being defended by a 7-footer right now. Just under 5.5 to go. Bill and I, glad you're with us tonight. They double team him. House lines up a triple, and it's off.
Good ball movement by Nevada. House knows he just wasn't set on that field goal attempt. He knows it.
1 of 8 from distance for House. This is a team that doesn't have to have 3-point buckets. They don't shoot them very much. And away from the basketball, a foul that time on Dent, his first. 6th team foul.
So it looked like Dent got hung up with Lucas as Lucas was making a cut. So you applaud the
That's not
freshman.
surprising, is it?
Exactly.
I mean, it's not, really. I mean, Lucas has just been crazy tonight. Missed his last couple. Still 9 of 15 with 23 points. House is on Lucas now. Blackshear with 4 fouls. Has it swatted away. Redirected that shot. Jalen wildly streaks down the court. To the bucket he goes. Gets the roll at home. Gives his team the lead. Their last lead, 3:47 left in the first half. Nice job that time. Blackshear stopped traffic. Johnson in a bad position.
Really was, and just great offense by House. It was excellent transition defense by Lucas, but House just so creative with the ability to finish at the rim. Now Blackshear gets back to the free throw line. These teams went double overtime a couple weeks ago. Just another excellent game. Lower scoring, this affair, as you kind of would expect. I think Coach Pitino expected this, speaking with him this afternoon, Darren. You know, it was in the 90s. double overtime game.
Well, talk about 2 clutch free throws for Blackshear.
Absolutely, on the road, excellent point.
He's got 7 points. First time he'd been to the line all night. Out in his face, mash up with it, mash home with it.
What an excellent decision by Mashburn. Defensive breakdown, just elevates, gorgeous move.
He's got 19. Nevada one of their last 9 from the floor. He had a beautiful look, but it was short. I mean, he worked hard to get into that position too, Blackshear.
Offense in front of the respective benches. We'll see the offensive set Coach Pitino calls.
House will go to the line. A call of timeout. Mashburn trying to carry his team to a victory at home. It ain't bragging if you can do it, and that's what this conference has done this year. And this matchup of these 2 elite teams near the top within the standings. And again, they're playing like teams, all 5 of them, that belong in the NCAA tournament. It's a far cry from getting 5 in, but this game, a game like this tonight, will lift both teams in their net no matter who wins. But this conference has a lot to be proud of this year.
Absolutely. You look at Nevada, they've got wins over Boise State, New Mexico, and San Diego State in their building. They're 3-0, the Wolfpack, in games decided by 5 points or less. So, 1-point game, trailing by 1, 3:40 to go. Can they get a significant road win?
Hey, by the way, Coleman has fouled out of the game. That is 5 fouls. Trey Coleman, he sends House to the line. Jalen shoots 85% from the line this year. As we told you earlier, he goes to the free throw line more than any other member of this team. That's right, all 5'11" of him. I mean, it says 6 foot. Plays like he's 7 feet tall sometimes.
Absolutely, no question about it.
Speaking of 7 feet, Baker, the 7-footer, had the basketball. He's a long ways from the bucket. They like him there. Clearing space and getting hot again, Jared Lucas. You can give him 25. His career high is 28. 6 sorry about that, partner. That ties his career high with 6 threes.
Tremendous head fake. Got House up in the air. Mashburn closed out. He still drained it.
Great defensive stop that time. Foster, the Australian, hands high in the air. Lucas again. Beautiful spin. It just dies into the net. 72-70. He's got 28, matching his career high.
He has got it going tonight.
Udeze lowers his shoulder. No bucket. On his way to the basket. They'll hang a foul on Will Baker.
Lucas here after the 3. Great screen by Baker. Udeze kind of in a little bit of a drop coverage there, and it's tough to guard Lucas because if you close out hard, he's going to drive by you. Such a tough cover, and Udeze now getting to the free throw line. We're going to tie this game up.
2 of 2 from the line thus far. 3 of 3. He's got 15 points, 9 rebounds. He knows every nook and cranny of this building. He coached so successfully here, Coach Alford.
And of course, he's talked about the fact that his squad is not the most experienced squad in the conference, but they are delivering in a big way.
Big minutes for a lot of young players as Morris bangs home the second one. Players like Darian Williams and Nick Davidson.
And 17 bench points, a factor this evening for the Wolfpack.
Tied at 72. Foster lowered his shoulder, trying to create some space. Didn't work. House takes a chance, picks Lucas's pocket. And a call of timeout once he grabbed that basketball, Lucas. Jalen House, a risk taker extraordinaire. Always has been, always will be.
Third in the country in steals. And we see here great help. Guys hitting the deck. Very intelligent play by Lucas to call the timeout.
Talking to Richard Pitino recently, and it ties into the chance that he just took defensively on that man. And I said, so, because I was fortunate enough to call a lot of Jalen's games when he was at Arizona State. And I said, so I'm guessing, Coach Pitino, that he's really reeled it in and is a lot more self-control. He said, absolutely not, he hasn't. He said, I constantly am working with him. I love that about him, but I'm constantly having to work with him. And he with himself, as he gets older, he's never going to lose that edge, that wild hair. That's who he is.
And you love that about him, because it's so much easier to bring it down a notch than it is to try to get guys to bring it up. And of course, that's not a problem for House. Just exuding confidence and moxie.
It may cost you a half or a game when he takes a chance, but it'll win you twice or three times as many. Took a chance. Udeze takes it away. He steps in front of that pass to Will Baker. 2-minute mark. Well, Jalen almost stumbled. Timeout, Coach Pitino. New Mexico will stop the clock at 1:55 to go in this one. So what's coming up for New Mexico as they stand right now 37 in the net? They're at Air Force, and you can catch that one. You've got Wyoming for your Valentine's Day special. That's spend it with your loved one. At San Jose State, at Boise State. Oh boy, it gets tough those last two.
It really does. And of course, the San Jose State game, Tim Miles has done a great job with the Spartans.
You make a good point. I want to get back to that. But here's what Nevada's got coming up. You and I will be fortunate enough to be on the call on Friday. Fresno State, and it's Utah State, San Jose State, and as you just spoke about them, Fresno State and Wyoming. So experts of this conference make it clear we love the 5 that are inside the top 37, but then the bottom 2 or 3 aren't at 250, aren't at 260. So we're not being punished. The entire conference has raised itself, and that helps.
Absolutely. Yeah, Wyoming went by 20 recently. Coach Alford talked about that on his radio show, testing how good the conference is now.
Oh! Little help to keep it alive. Udeze looked like he kicked it out of bounds, and he did. Really acrobatic effort by House there. Thought he might get a lucky bounce. Tied at 72. Just to finish the thought, Fresno 184 in the net. Air Force 155, Wyoming 197. They've had such tough luck this year, Wyoming, in health. Didn't used to be that way. There were 3 or 4 teams well below that. Buck and a half to go. Guys tried for a steal a moment ago. Lucas with his 28 points. Mashburn all over him. Great hustle to keep it alive, and now it's a wide open opportunity underneath. Beautiful. One more pass, and Blackshear with the bucket.
Second chance opportunity by Nevada at a critical juncture.
Changed his mind midair to the big man for the bucket. Mash went up to shoot it, then he dumped it, and a short timeout is called after Morris Udeze puts that one home.
Just a gorgeous look by Mashburn, the conference's leading scorer. And we see the hustle here by Nevada. Offensive rebound, and they cash in. And Mashburn elevated to shoot it. Saw Udeze wide open. So intelligent. And we're tied up with under a minute to go. So how does New Mexico guard Lucas? Mashburn did a great job. Forced him into a tough 2, but again, Darren, did not finish the defensive possession. But what will they do here? Will they run and double? Will they blitz him? But again, they must secure, critical, secure the defensive rebound. Big numbers for Udeze. Leading rebounder in the Mountain West. 16 points per night, he's eclipsed that. Blackshear will initiate Nevada's offense here. Playing with 4 fouls. Alec with 4 as well in New Mexico.
Yeah, Alec's got to keep Baker at check. Meantime, Blackshear goes to the bucket. And a foul on Javonte Johnson. Well, he went downhill quickly.
Now, he looked, of course, at Lucas, well defended by Mashburn, but he saw that he had an opportunity to drive to the basket and get to the line, take what the defense gives you.
The Florida Atlantic transfer shoots 80% from the line this year and misses the first. He had 20 points, 5 steals in the win over New Mexico in the last matchup. That gives him 10 tonight. Nevada 1. That's the lead.
Big possession, of course, right here for New Mexico.
House for 3. Short. Morris tries to grab the rebound, cannot hold on. Steps out of bounds. New Mexico basketball.
Now that would have been a big stop for Nevada. Now New Mexico will inbound deep in the corner opposite their bench.
Jalen now 1 of 9 from long distance. He won't be afraid to shoot it again, though.
Jenkins on the floor, another offensive threat. Alec, offense-defense switch.
Mashburn hammers it home. A line drive bucket. And Nevada calls a timeout. Mashburn elevated so quickly. He's got 21.
The conference's top scorer elevates, shoots over Williams. Just great offensive one-on-one work. Lefty dribble, pull-up jumper. They love it at the pit, and we talked about it, Darren, virtually systemically throughout the evening, that this would boil down to winning time and players making plays. So who makes more plays? Now, if you're New Mexico here, you're going to extend, keep everything in front of you. We have the furtive House, of course, who is 3rd in the country in steals. Does he try to steal here? But it'll be vital, of course, that they secure a defensive rebound. And for Nevada, listen, Blackshear likely to initiate. They want to go to Lucas, but don't forget about Baker looming in the post. Do they go with a high ball screen for Blackshear? Kind of maybe some pistol action. So from that standpoint, both teams strategizing in how to handle this scenario with New Mexico up 1, 15.4 to go, desperately needing a stop, and Nevada, of course, needing a basket or to get to the free throw line. They'd like to accomplish both or drain a 3 here, of course.
Mashburn at 33 at Nevada in the loss in double overtime. Again, Nevada has won 8 consecutive games against New Mexico. Steve Alford, since leaving here, has never lost a game coaching against them. It's 7 in a row. Lobos by 1.
Mashburn on Lucas. They switch it.
Blackshear up with it. The roll, the victory, Nevada quiets this amazing building. They're going to take one more look at it. Unbelievable clutch shot by Keenan Blackshear.
Wow. You see Blackshear operating, Mashburn checking him. Stops, elevates, look at the soft touch.
got to go through the net.
So there's going to be time here for New Mexico. It looks like, you know, cursory glance, will be 0.3 on the clock for the Lobos. That's what the officiating crew is looking at. So we'll have to see if it is at 3/10. I remember James Webb III for Boise State draining a three-pointer, but there was 0.8 on the clock a number of years ago. He went on to toil for the Nets. There was a little contact there as well.
They're still determining if, in fact, they're going to put time on the clock. Give a chance for a miracle beyond a miracle. And Steve Alford has come back into this building where he wins all the time, and it appears that he's won again.
Great touch. And Nevada came into tonight 3-0 in games decided by 5 points or less, with wins over Boise State, Utah State, New Mexico in their building. This would be a prodigious road win for the Wolfpack.
Nevada net at this point 34, New Mexico at 37. Can you imagine? And there's not much space at the top. It's hard to climb when you get this late in the season. 0.1. They put 0.1 on the clock.
So, listen, this is a tall order. You cannot advance the basketball like you can in the NBA, so it makes it even tougher. So you're looking at a scenario where you're going to throw this deep and look for a tip. Not sure if there's enough time to catch and shoot with 0.1.
Javonte Johnson will inbound the basketball. Yeah, usually takes about a third of a second to catch and shoot. That one sails all the way, goes untouched.
You're absolutely right, partner. That 0.3 is typically what it takes. And now Nevada has an opportunity to inbound it and get out of here with a win.
What an incredible win for Nevada. Steve Alford perfect against his former program in this building. He wins more than 90% of the time. He took multiple teams to the NCAA tournament for New Mexico in 10, 12, and 13. Now he's Nevada's head coach, and he comes back and hands them a heartbreaking loss.
Yeah, Lucas, the reigning conference player of the week, goes for 28. He was terrific. And what can you say? Blackshear near the buzzer with 0.1 remaining. The soft touch rolls around the rim and drops. And Nevada gets a impressive road win.
Blackshear finishes with 12 points. The two biggest coming as the clock just about disappeared. Our entire Fox Sports 1 production team and both of these programs and their sports information departments, we certainly want to thank them for all that they brought to us tonight. On behalf of Bill, my name is Darren. Thanks for spending this evening with us. This conference is incredible. It's a great brand of basketball. We'll see you soon. Good night, everyone.